What's up, y'all? Charlie here with Builders Growth Lab. I want to take a second and tell you about campaign pilots. So let's say that you've built your app and you've got it out. I don't know, use Bolt, Cursor, Cloud Code, whatever it is. It's out live. You got the domain. You deployed. Awesome. Users are visiting. So let's say you're staring at your GA4 screen. You're under user attribution and you're looking at your traffic sources. Let's just say that. Okay, how do you actually make sense of that, right? You're the builder, not the marketer. Okay, that's fine. That's where campaign pilots comes in. It does the work for you. So what does that mean? Go to campaignpilots.ai, fire up your connectors. You've got GA4, you've got Search Console, you've got Google Ads. Okay, it takes less than 60 seconds to connect. Start a new analysis chat. Let's say you're connected to Search Console. You can prompt it, you can ask it, give me the top 5 pages in the last 30 days compared to the last 30 days. Tell me the deltas and tell me what to do moving forward on how to make this the most profitable campaign I can. And it will tell you the pages. And then you can ask it what are the top 5 non-branded keywords and then how to optimize those moving forward. And it will tell you. It basically tells you how to get the highest ROAS possible for your app. It solves the problem for getting customers to your app in layman's terms. So go to campaignpilots.ai, sign up for a free 2 weeks, and message us and let us know how it is. Thanks, y'all. On to the episode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Builders Growth Lab podcast, otherwise formerly known as AI Code Central. As of last week, we have a new name. Super exciting. I'm Mallory, your brand and community marketing expert. And then, of course, we have Connor, who is expert in all things growth, paid advertising. And then we have Charlie, who is the SEO god. And funny that I say that
SEO
as
god.
he... I know, I wanted to make it dramatic. He's really not. But
it's a hell of an intro.
Hell of an intro. But I say that because this episode today is going to be diving into all things SEO. Charlie is going to kind of take us through the basics, especially if you're a builder here who doesn't really know how to get started on this. This is a great episode for you to learn more about all things SEO.
Okay,
Let's
bam.
go.
Stoked.
Mallory, all right. Buzzing.
Way to bring us in, Mallory.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's the matcha, you guys. That's what it is.
Right.
Okay. Giving me, actually, it's SEO. If that's giving me life right now, it's just like the excitement of diving into this topic is getting me energized. Yes. No, I can't.
This episode
I think the takeaway is too, though, right? Like SEO, as technical as it can be, it's super integral to anybody who's building a site, right? So it's like going through it. Charlie, we're going to pepper you with a ton of questions, as if I know nothing about SEO, and even as much as I do know, it's not as much as you. So it's going to be one to listen in on, and again, kind of take some things away for you guys who are out there building and in the process of getting a website up and running. This is going to be super integral.
Yes,
absolutely.
SEO is the heartbeat of a website. It is basically your online store. You run paid ads. That's great. You do some email marketing. Awesome. You got badass community and everything. Like the heartbeat of the website is critical for customer acquisition. So we will go through that in this episode.
Definitely. But before we dive in, curious to hear how your Thanksgiving weekend or holiday breaks went. Any updates to share?
Charlie, take it away, man.
Charlie?
Oh, me first. I'll go
Connor,
first. That's
I feel
fine.
like you don't go first. So
okay. Thank you so much. I get to go first now. Thanksgiving weekend was great. Honestly, it was a nice couple of days to have some downtime. As I've spoken about on all of our previous episodes the past few weeks, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, going to the holidays it's such a slog, especially for people in the e-commerce space, paid marketing, digital marketing space. So while busy's good, it's mayhem, absolute mayhem. So listen, busy's good. I'm never going to complain about being busy, but it's one of those things where after you're done, it's almost like you're so fatigued, even mentally, and like fried without even realizing it. Like Thanksgiving hit, and like that morning I just got up and I was like, oh my gosh, like the sense of relief of just getting everything done.
Yeah.
Like all clients were happy.
Best feeling.
It was the best feeling. So it was just nice to kind of like, take a break, give myself a little space and take some time off. So Thanksgiving was great. Had family over, good food, good drinks, just nice connecting with people. And again, stepping away from the computer for a little bit. You definitely need that off screen time, I think, to kind of recharge and reinvigorate yourself. And I came back yesterday, Monday, and I was just like ready to dive back into it and get back to work. So can't complain. It was a good weekend. So overall, Charlie,
yeah.
give us some lowdown on your Thanksgiving, man.
Real quick. What football did you watch?
Oh my God.
Oh, all the football, man. Big sports fan over here. So I watched all the games. I have a really bad habit of I do like the whole parlay thing and the DraftKings thing. It's absolutely terrible. It's a bad habit. I wish I didn't do it. And listen, I'm not spending like hundreds of dollars at a time, but like I'll spend like,
I don't know. Maybe you are, Connor. Maybe you are.
No.
Are you a gambling? Are you a degenerate?
Dude, I love gambling. I'm not gonna lie. If you get me in like Las Vegas, like one of my favorite places on planet Earth, like for 2 days at a time, right? Any more than that, it's too much.
Oh,
but
it's terrible.
Yeah.
I think it's like anybody, right? You gamble a little bit and you win some money and you're like, it's the coolest feeling in the world, but it hooks you in so much. You're like,
degenerate.
Right. Yeah. I want the feeling again and again and again. So listen, I don't blast $50 on a bet, but I will take $50 on a Sunday and just make a bunch of little bets here and there. Which, listen, sometimes they pay off. Thursday, Thanksgiving, I bet on the Cowboys game. Cowboys are my team. And they ended up rewarding me with like $500. I bet like $5 and won 500. So it was nice, but if I'm being honest, the winnings probably balances out the amount of money I've spent over the last 3 months or so, right? So it's kind of just a hobby, I guess, in some capacity. I'm not like sitting here bleeding out cash, but yeah, definitely big on betting, big on the sports, all the football. Cowboys won. They're on a streak. I think they're better than the Broncos right now. Sorry, Charlie, to say that.
Why are you
probably the 49ers too, Mallory? I don't know if you're like a big sports fan or not.
Well,
like,
I'm not super huge, but I know the 49ers won yesterday. So
they did.
Like recently. Yeah.
They won a few days ago. So they look good, but my Cowboys are looking really, really good. That gets me amped up.
You're from New York. Why are you a Dallas fan?
Well, yeah. All right. So I get a lot of flack because the Giants, New York Giants and Dallas are like, big rivals, but I'm an 80s baby, right? So I grew up like when I was younger, it was like 93, 94, 95 is when the Cowboys won like all their Super Bowls in a row.
Troy Aikman,
so I'm
Emmitt Smith and...
yeah, exactly. So I was very impressionable young man who's just watching the TV and was just like, yeah, they're winning. I like this team. And I never went back. I just stuck with the team.
I can picture a little Connor with his little mustache.
Oh my gosh.
I look the exact same as I do now. Full head, like just
he's already
gambling.
Like
yeah. He's already gambling.
Already gambling. Like I was doing gambling before DraftKings was even a thing. Like I was just
parlaying crayons and I could
exactly
totally see that. Okay, what did I get into? Well, Thanksgiving is okay. I think the week of Christmas, that's like my favorite week of the year. But Thanksgiving is a close second, just because it's great to see family. I'm from Denver, so I just buzz over to my sister's place. Parents are there, niece and nephew are there, which is cool. Caught up with them. Girlfriend came with me, of course. And I ate so much. I told my girlfriend, like, I feel like a sewer rat right now. I ate turkey. I ate stuffing. I ate mashed potatoes. I ate sweet potatoes. I ate ham. I had rolls. I had like 3 different kinds of rolls. They were freaking unbelievable. It was so good. And then I ate again, of course, the next day. I think I ate for 2 days off of that. And just like, I just love stuffing. I smash
Stuffing's
turkey.
So good.
Stuffing is the best.
Stuffing. Yeah. I go ham on that stuff. So
do you guys do like the after Thanksgiving like leftover like sandwich thing where people are like, I'm just gonna put everything on a sandwich and
That's so good.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best.
Yeah, I do that for sure. Yeah, I did that. Started shopping. I'm going down my list on my little notepad on my phone. Started shopping online. Of course, I'm not going in person shopping. I'm not insane.
Oh, I wanted to go shopping in person.
Although I did, but
I tried to get my wife on Friday. I got up and I'm like, do you want to, like, our family had left. I'm like, let's go shopping. She's like, absolutely not. Like, I don't want to go.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised she would be like, let's go.
Oh, she shopped. It was just all online. It just wasn't in store.
Quick sidebar here. Connor, didn't you do the parade?
I did.
I did do the parade. It was the first time I've done the parade living in New York my whole life, like not too far from the city growing up. And I've been in the city for, I don't know, 10 years now. And it's like a 20-minute subway ride, like over to to where the parade starts. So I went over where it initially starts. It was fun. Don't get me wrong, but it's like woke up at 5 a.m. The parade doesn't kick off until I think it was 8:30, but in order to get a spot, you have to wake up super early. Very crowded. People like as you would expect it is, right? So it was a really cool experience. I think it's just a one-time experience for me, right? Unless at some point I have kids and they really want to go, et cetera, et cetera. But for now, ton of fun. Cool to see the floats up close, but you don't see like the things you see on TV, the performances, the singing. It's just the floats kind of going by.
Yeah.
Not that it's silent, but there's nothing else really going on. But still, nevertheless, it was a really sweet experience.
That's cool.
Something to check out. Yeah.
That's cool. Well, I'm not doing shopping in person. I'm just going to go nuts on Amazon, of course, just get it shipped in. I'll be done in like a week or so.
Can I say something really quick? Not to be that person, but my hot take is that buying gifts on Amazon is the equivalent of getting someone a gift card. Okay, continue.
Get the hell out of here, Mallory.
No, I'm serious. I said that this weekend to my husband. I'm like, I really think it is. So sorry.
What if it's like a very like thoughtful, unique?
Those don't exist on Amazon.
Oh, sure they do.
No, I know they do. I'm kidding. But if I'm doing like,
but I'm like,
thoughtful gift, I'm such a big Etsy guy with that because it feels like it's all handcrafted. And I know it's a lot of it's mass produced, right? Like you're not really fooling me, but it just seems a little bit more genuine, I guess.
A nice knife set.
A nice knife set. I'd rather buy it on like, which is not that much better than Amazon, but I'm like, ooh, I'd rather buy it from like Williams Sonoma or like West Elm or Pottery Barn or Crate and Barrel or so that's what I would do.
Yeah, see, that's just okay. So it's not just Amazon. Like I'll go to Pottery Barn or something like that. But
sorry, I didn't mean to call you out there.
But I did. Okay, Mallory. See, okay.
Charlie's really just taking
hosting
the easy way out.
Now she's already being a bully. Okay. So anyway, moving on now. Yes, I do have a list on my phone, and I'll be done. I think a week and a half or so.
For buying gifts, you're done in a week and a half.
Yeah, I'll just carve out like a couple hours, on like a Saturday or something, and just get it all done. Unless there's something, unless I see something while I'm out, and I'll swoop that up, of course. Started doing that. The Broncos, so I'm in Denver. Broncos are crushing it right now. Hell of a game on Sunday night. I know Mallory's going to get boopy pants. We talk about.
No, talk about it.
About
sports,
football. Yeah, sports. Hell of a game on Sunday night. That was a while ago. I'm not even really a football fan. I mean, that was the first football game I watched in like I think 3 years. Like from
wow,
maybe not the whole game. I think I watched like halfway through the first, but yeah, it was back and forth, right? I mean
literally to like the last like couple minutes, I think, or like last minute. Then Washington lost by like a point.
Yeah. On the last play too, like that.
Yeah,
he should have. For sure should have had that. And the Avs are crushing it right now. They're a freaking buzzsaw. It's kind of dangerous though, like when teams get on a heater like that in the beginning of the season, because typically, you can't sustain that, right? You kind of tail off towards the end of the season, and then in the playoffs, it's like the worst timing. It drives GMs bananas.
Are Avs games super expensive?
Not really.
That would be really cool if we can go to like an Avs game when we all meet up. Like,
that would be cool.
Mallory, would you want to go?
Yeah.
Okay, it like the best. So I was talking to this with a buddy a couple weeks ago that football games are better watching than in person. Hockey games are better in person than watching. Like when you go to a hockey game and like you're sitting kind of, it's better to sit up, a little higher because you can see the plays develop. Like that's where the scouts sit. But if you sit like a kind of close and you see it, like you hear them chirping, like just talking shit to each other, which is hilarious in itself. Like you hear them calling each other pigeons and fucking losers. It's so funny.
I mean, that's the whole point,
Yeah,
but that's also like baseball to me is much better to watch in person than it is on TV.
See, I'm not a baseball person.
I'm not. I mean, I grew up watching a lot of baseball. I grew up as a Chicago Cubs fan, so. But yeah, I feel like it's much better in person. Because you're eating, you're drinking.
Yeah,
you're there.
You get the whole experience.
You get the experience,
Yeah.
So. And baseball is pretty slow. It's a slower moving sport than, football and definitely hockey.
It's right? So much fun to go live. And I have a buddy with a box there, and like we always stop by there, of course, have a couple of beers, and then head back to our seats. But yeah, they're fun, especially when there's fights. Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
crowd goes
exactly.
bananas. It's so cool. It's so much fun. Like talking in other sports, baseball, football, guys will throw down. Not that I'm like a advocate for violence, but I think when it's legal to fight in the sport, it keeps the players honest. Like there's no cheap shots, generally speaking. Like you can't hit a guy over the head with a stick because you get your teeth punched in. And I really think, and I've seen it too, that it keeps players honest, and they're not so dramatic. If oh my gosh, they got nudged going around a base or something like that, and then the guy freaks out, and okay, we'll settle it. They're like, it's just hockey has a very certain culture to it. So I think also too that's why hockey like the players are like so down to earth, and like I've heard this from reporters that they're very easy to talk to. They always give their time, and they're not prima donnas like other athletes. And
Respect to the hockey players.
yeah. By the way, if you guys haven't seen it, the one of the funniest shows I've ever seen is called Shoresy. It's a hockey show. It is the guy's an absolute ball buster. It is
Yeah, I've seen it. It's good.
Yeah, okay. It's
It
the
reminds
first
me of like
season.
Letterkenny almost. Like,
Yeah,
you know that
exactly.
show?
It's a
Oh,
spin-off
yes,
of
yes,
Letterkenny.
yes. Yeah.
But, so Mallory, you've seen Letterkenny?
I've seen a few episodes. I have a friend that's like obsessed with this show. So yes, I've heard about it.
Has that friend watched Shoresy?
I don't think so. I don't think
Oh
so.
man, Shoresy, it is so unbelievably
Maybe though.
funny.
Maybe.
Okay,
We'll
it
find
is
out.
so funny. Of course, if you play hockey, it's like 'cause they have the there's a lingo to hockey of like pigeons and losers and pee whacks and
Oh my God.
yeah, like
They have your
there's-
own vocabulary in hockey.
yeah, they really, and it's so the dialogue is so and it's so spot on. It's so Canadian. It's so awesome. So yeah, I all that to say, I did watch a couple episodes of that, and they're 20 minutes. Like you can knock them out like super quick. So yeah, as you roll it into Monday, yeah, getting good feedback on the app campaign pilots, and yeah, fine tuning that. So yeah, that is exciting. I know that was oh, also as I'm looking at my notepad here, I will finish this up. I've been doing hard cardio first thing in the morning, like right when I wake up, hop on the bike, 30 minutes, just go hard. There's a Lifetime 10 minutes south of me, so I'll just hop on the bike and then rinse off, hop in the steam room, 10 minutes.
Way
Love
to
that.
start the morning, man.
Freaking fantastic. Do you guys steam?
Yeah, I actually have
Yeah.
a little pop-up in my house. One of those like
Oh,
Really?
do you like
pop-ups
those
you can
things?
get. Yeah, my husband and I use them. So I've had it for almost 2 years, a year and a half now. But yeah, it's great. If you don't have like a personal sauna at home, you can easily get a pop-up one, and it works well. So we do use it.
Interesting. I
Yeah.
should get one of those.
Freaking awesome.
Yeah.
It like you can literally feel the difference. And now that it's getting cold out, you hit
Yep.
a steam room, you walk out, and it's just like such a nice chill on you. Yeah, it's so nice. And first thing in the morning, like 7 a.m., 6:30, whatever. Yeah, it's freaking great. So
Now you just need a cold plunge. Add that to the list.
Oh, I
You
love
cold plunge?
cold plunges.
I have many times. I do enjoy it.
Really?
Yeah.
so you go
Yeah.
cold plunge to dry sauna?
Yeah, no, it's like
Or
what
the other way
I
around?
think it's like cold plunge, go into the steam sauna. So I have a steam sauna pop up and then go back into the cold plunge.
Woo woo. Okay. When I was in Thailand, there
Go.
was an onsen sauna, and there was like
I love
seven
onsens.
7 stations, I think, maybe 5 stations,
Mhm.
but we look like such losers because we were like, oh, what is this? What is it? And we were just going out of order. But there's like an ice room, there's
Yeah.
a jet sauna,
Those
or
are
a jet
awesome.
hot tub, and then there's a regular hot tub, still water, and then there's like a cold plunge, and then I feel like I'm missing something, missing 3 or 4. Anyway, yeah, it was freaking awesome. It was fantastic. So yeah, that's been my last couple days. So just eating like a disgusting human and watching a couple episodes of Shoresy. So Mallory, what's been up with you?
All right. Well, I absolutely had a pretty chill Thanksgiving weekend. Spending some time with my sister here in San Francisco. She hosted her first Thanksgiving with my niece and nephew. Also
Nice.
ate a lot. And what else? Did some Black Friday shopping with a friend here in San Francisco as well to get some gifts. That was fun. Went up to Sonoma to go to a few wineries with some friends as well, which was really fun. Can't complain about that. I think there's something really fun about doing that when when the leaves on the wine bushes are kind of like falling, and it's just the air is a lot crisper. So that was cool. And then what else? And then did some hot yoga with a really lovely founder friend of mine who I'm hoping can come on to the pod next year. And yeah, I've been loving hot yoga. Been obsessed with that lately.
How long are
And
those
then
classes that you do for hot
they're an
yoga?
hour long,
Whew.
60 to 75 minutes, depending
Wow.
on.
Goodness gracious.
But I love that. And then what else? Oh, I started watching straight the season 5 of Stranger Things. So
Oh, how do
I'm
you like it?
I love it. I
Yeah,
love
I
it.
only got into the first season. I never got into anything after
you
that.
got to watch the rest of them. They're
You gotta
fantastic.
watch. The
Okay.
show gets better as it progresses. I think it's just excellent. But I'm obsessed with Stranger Things. I'm already almost done with the last episode of part 1 in season 5. So the way they're breaking it down is like they're releasing the first 4 episodes last week, right before Thanksgiving. They're going to release 3 more episodes on Christmas, and then they're going to release the last episode on December 31st on New Year's Eve.
Hmm.
So yeah, I wish they were kind of all available now, but yeah, I think that's
We've been trained to want it immediately the second it drops.
I know we are. So although I'm like breaking this down in 3 parts seems excessive, but I get the hype around Christmas and New Year's, like everyone's gonna want to watch it. And so yeah, obsessed with the show. And then kind of coming back into this week, just honestly playing catch up and trying to kind of starting to plan for next year is my focus. I'm wrapping up my first client project this week too, so that's
Hmm.
really exciting.
Nice.
Um, yeah, yeah.
What's the project on?
It's just a
Not the
rebrand.
name, just the work.
It's a rebrand project that we've been working on. So we're just finishing up with like a final brand guide, all the final messaging, colors, font, logo. We redid their logo, everything. So we're delivering that this week and finishing that up, which is awesome. So, and then yeah, that's it.
Hell yeah.
Here we
Cool.
are.
Quick question. What is when you go to Sonoma, what does that entail? Like what do you do? Because my girlfriend and I have talked about doing something like that.
Yeah, so Sonoma is right next to Napa in up north in Northern California, where folks tend to go to drink all the wine. So if you are a wine connoisseur, absolutely love wine, I highly recommend you come visit Northern California because it's not just Napa. I think Napa is like everyone knows what Napa is, and it's actually
Hmm.
the more expensive. Like if you're gonna go try wine, it is more expensive because of just the name itself. Sonoma is actually right next to Napa, and it's just a little easier to get to and it's more affordable, even though the wine is just as good. But it's interesting because like what's really popular or what's known about San Francisco is we have a lot of microclimates here. And so even if you go up north and you kind of visit different towns, like Healdsburg is another town with a few wineries, Yountville is like super bouge, like really good restaurants, really great like wine up there too. But depending upon where they're located in the region, they may have more rain, it may be cooler, and that will affect how the grapes are essentially made. But yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things where it's like if you fly into SF with your girlfriend, maybe spend a day or two in San Francisco and then
Hmm.
drive up north and stay in Sonoma, or Napa if you'd like to, and then just kind of like drive around and experience the different restaurants, the wineries. If you want, you can go to the Redwoods too. Like that's not as much of a, it's like
Okay.
probably about less than an hour and you can go hike and check out the Redwoods. So there's lots of cool stuff to do.
Have you ever been out that way, Charlie? Like
I
out in
haven't,
SF?
no. I've
It's
been in SF before. I was there for Macworld
well, like
and I was there, but not like near Sonoma or what you're talking about, Mallory.
when Mallory's describing me. So like I did that trip, I don't know, a few years ago now.
Really?
We went up through Sonoma, Napa, and then we drove all the way. We drove all the way up to Portland, Oregon
Oh,
to
cool.
go through, but we
Oh,
wanted to go through the redwoods and like the meat of the redwoods, I guess you would call
that's
her, just
cool.
like, as much as we could see of it. And it was breathtaking trip. Like driving down the coastal highway, like all the way up. It was gorgeous. Highly recommend it if you're thinking
Yeah.
about it.
I'll give you my list and all of that good stuff. I
Okay.
use this app. I'm obsessed with this app. This is not a sponsored ad. It's called Corner. And it's where I essentially cultivate my lists of places to go and things to do because people are always asking me, "Hey Mal, I'm going to Chicago. Like, can you give me your list of places to go to? And I send all of that. So I'll have to send you my corner list that I curated, and you can get an idea of what's good. But yeah, and there's all kinds of wineries too. Like there's so many, and there's all kinds. So I feel like there's something for everyone.
I always think of that movie Sideways with Paul Giamatti. Was that in Napa?
I don't know.
Have you seen it, Connor?
Mm-mm.
No, really?
I know Paul Giamatti. He's great. I just don't know. I don't know the movie.
He's so good in this movie. He's so good.
It probably is if it says it's in wine country, I would guess it's there, but who knows?
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, well, I can make a reference, but it won't. Anyways, I always
not going to hit
of that. No.
Unless it's a SpongeBob reference, it just goes over my head. So, and I'm not kidding about that.
Or what is it? Dress to Impress?
Or Roblox.
Roblox. Okay. All right. Anyways. Okay. So what everybody has been waiting for, what all the Reddit threads have been
into
telling us
this.
to do.
Let's go. SEO.
So search engine optimization. Now, I'll ask y'all first. When I say SEO, what does your mind go?
Keywords.
Site structure.
Ah, okay.
Where I'm going to rank and search.
Yeah. Like keyword ranking, domain authority.
Yep.
Backlinks, referring domains, like everything. Okay, pretty much everything. You say SEO, and I just picture a SEMrush or Ahrefs dashboard.
Yes.
Like that's what I think of, right? So it's probably a very
just data.
To someone like you, Charlie, probably a very like the basics of what SEO is, or just basic reporting, right? I mean, some other things, Core Web Vitals, Google Search Console, all of that stuff. Yeah.
So there's three arms to SEO, three pillars, I should say. There's content, technical, and backlinks. So content, keywords like Mallory said. So it's like, we're going to use the domain pdf.ai as an example. So like example keywords would be like PDF AI, chat with PDF, summarize PDF, keywords like that. So the idea is to get in front of high volume keywords like AI PDF, so that when somebody searches for it, your domain, your page, Google ranks web pages, not websites, your page targeting that keyword shows up in that search, and that's organic growth. The technical side would be like what Connor said. So like a fast loading website, proper website structure. So like www.pdf.ai I've got some examples here. They call content silos. So a pillar page would be like /chat with PDF, and then another /research papers. So that if somebody in the research paper realm, or like a use case for a research paper, they would upload a PDF and it would link to that parent page, which I'll go over this, chat with PDF. So the parent page goes after the main domain. So pdf.ai. Then you have the parent page, chat with PDF. And then you have the child page, research papers.
What's a parent page versus a child page?
So a parent page is like, that's like your main keyword that you want to go to. So if you ever go to a website like, what would it be? Like, I don't know, www.wine.com, and then /redwine/Merlot. So that parent page is red wine. That's really what you want to rank for, because that has the most volume. But because it's so short, it's going to be the most competitive. Go ahead,
Charlie. I'm sorry.
So I was going to say, with the child page is Merlot. So that target keyword Merlot, that's in the H1, which I'll go through later. In the parent-child page relationship, the child pages all link together, and they link up to the parent page, and the parent page links down. So thus it creates a content silo.
So like you could use an example even of like Nike.com is the main domain. Your parent page is high tops, and then your child page is SB Dunk red black, right? High top / SB Dunk red black, right? So like that would be your structure in terms of main domain, parent, and then child.
Exactly. And that parent page is really like your target keyword. So your target keyword, you want to put it in your title tag, you want to put it in your So in PDF to AI, you want to put, if his target keyword is AI PDF, he wants to put that in the title tag. He wants to put that in the meta description. He wants to put that in the URL. Of course, he wants to put that in the H1. And then the H2 will have variants of that target keyword. So like your keyword inventory. And there'll be prompts for this. I know this is like a lot, like all at once of this. Just it is really boring, but when you see it happen, it's like freaking magic. I remember the first time I ever ranked a page. I mean, my brainstem like blew apart. Like I couldn't believe like it actually showed up on Google with the content, and it was like, whoa, like that website belongs to me. That was bananas. That was
So
absolutely bananas.
when it comes to SEO too, Charlie, right? And you're talking, we're still sticking with PDF.ai. I don't know if bringing it up is good to kind of show people who are viewing via YouTube or not. But for something like PDF AI, or for anybody really, how do you go about finding out what you should title your parent page and then what you should title your child page, right? I'm assuming that takes some keyword research.
Yeah. So I'll back up too, and really the reason why I picked PDF.ai is because it's a great example of something called domain authority, which again, it's so boring to talk about, but it is critical to your website health. So domain authority is like how authoritative, it's what it sounds like, is the website in the eyes of search engines. Now, let's say we're starting from scratch. Let's say that I went to GoDaddy and I bought PDF.ai. For some reason, nobody bought it. And I want to rank that. For one, that keyword PDF, I'm guessing is getting searched over like 3 million times a month, at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
just PDF, you're saying, get searched over. Like,
that in that domain name, that's already a strong signal to Google. However, ranking brand new domains is pure hell. It is brutal. It is absolutely brutal. So the best way to do it, if at all possible, is to buy an old domain, an aged domain, just like from an auction or something, clean it up, remove all the content and everything, and then you can just 301 it, which is basically merging websites into one. If you have two websites, just merge one into the other, and then use that domain equity moving forward. So what this guy did, his name is Damon. He bought PDF.ai, he cleaned it up, and he just ran with content. So it was already on Google. It's called indexed. And then he just poured gasoline on the fire that was already there, rather than having to try to start the fire, because that is the process that takes a lot of time. And it's better, the 80-20 rule. It's better to just buy, if at all possible, it's better to buy an older domain, clean it up a little bit, and then pour gasoline on it. And now, to my understanding, he's doing it over, close to 2 million ARR right now. And organic growth. So, organic growth is a huge part of that. And that domain, PDF, it's a perfect domain name, right? For what his solution offers. It's absolutely perfect. So I think there's a master class in how he did that.
Do you have like suggestions too for someone who's searching for, because that's actually the first I've heard that, and it makes a ton of sense, right? Buying a domain that's already been used at some point in time or still exists. Someone's just trying to offload it and it has a ton of domain authority. And I'm assuming, Charlie, there's just a few questions here I have. One, domain authority is built just by what, like the content and historical presence of the website over time, right? So the older the website, the higher the domain authority, or is it the more content, the higher the domain authority? Is it a combination?
Content, technical, backlinks, all that plays into historical relevance, age is like, you're not going to have, check SEMrush, check Ahrefs for the metric for domain authority. They're different on the two platforms, but check them.
Yeah.
You're not going to hit like a strong domain authority if your domain is like Campaign Pilots, the domain is brand new. We're not going to hit there for like 2 years at least.
Yeah.
Like a 60, right? So yes,
correct.
Age does play into that. That's why it's really, if at all possible, just buy an old domain and just 301 it.
Where do you go to buy old existing domains that are for sale? Is it just a setting in like a GoDaddy? Is there a specific way you go about finding domains that are relevant to what your business or offering may be, so you can make sure it aligns?
I've seen it on GoDaddy. I was actually bidding for CSV.ai. That's originally what Campaign Pilots was. And again, Connie, you brought up the connectors, so that's good. So you can do GoDaddy, you can do Empire Kingdom, you can do or what is it? Empire Flippers, and Flippa. FLIPPA.
Flippa.
You know what? Let me triple check the FLI.
Interesting. Because, and the only reason I bring it up too, again,
Flippa,
it's
yeah.
like if I had known, I feel like if I had known that when I first started, even my agency, right? And again, you learn things as you go. I probably would have looked for an old domain. I've had my domain for 4 to 5 years now, probably closer to 5 years, and the domain authority is like still only like 20 to 24. Like I think it's like
That's
20
not
or
bad.
24. It's not terrible, but
Yeah.
for 5 years of existence, my assumption would have been that I would have made it further based on some backlinks, content,
Yeah.
just history of being around,
Well, and now, pardon me, and now with your domain authority as it is now, if you add more content, the propensity of indexing and ranking pages will go up too.
does it just like it speeds up, you mean? So
Yeah.
the more content I add, it'll just,
Yeah.
so like the domain
like that
authority being
snowball
at say
effect.
20 now, it'll just snowball and work and go up faster than it
Yeah.
typically would.
You can have an agent just do content outlines, like do keyword. Ideally, AI is good at keyword research, but there does need to be. You should have some human oversight. Come up with a content outline and then write the content from that content outline. So a content outline is like, here's the title of the page, here's the H1, and then here are all the H2s. So a proper website hierarchy for a web page, one H1, and then you can have H2s, but don't have the same keyword in there as the H1. And then you can have H3s, which are subtopics of the H2s. This is gripping information right now. I know that this is like so like riveting information right now. Talking about
No,
SEO
it's important.
and
It's important.
cascading, page hierarchy. So, one H1, you can have H2s, and then have your keyword inventory, and then have you can have your highest volume for the keywords in those H2s, and then the target keyword, like PDF AI, will be the H1, and then like your like money keyword, like that actually has your intent behind it of using AI for your PDF, whether you want it to scrape it, whether you want to summarize it, whatever it is, that's your homepage, H1. And then if you can somehow get that in the domain, like PDF.ai, then you've really got something there. Then you can do the organic, you can build out the website, you can run ads, and your customer acquisition cost will slowly decline. And at the heartbeat of that is the SEO.
So, how does SEO sort of influence positioning in a super crowded AI category? Like chat with PDF has got to be, and just like the keyword PDF alone, right, is so popular. So,
Yeah.
how does that work?
Look, I think it's critical that you rank for those keywords because it sends a trust signal to a user. So like if I search AI PDF and I see that guy's domain is at the top, his page is at the top, I'm clicking on that. Or like an overview, now that Google is doing what it's doing with AI results. You want as much dominance, that real estate, that oceanfront real estate, you want as much dominance at the top of search results as possible. So how does it play into it? It's absolutely critical. And by having those three pillars that we talked about, nailed down, that's how you do it. And then eventually people, on LinkedIn and Reddit, it's cool. Companies are built on, getting listed on ChatGPT and Claude and, man, it's like, it's the same freaking thing. It's content, technical, and backlinks. And the cleaner your website is, as long as you're putting out content, human content, ideally, that is valuable in answering questions, and you get other websites on the internet to mention you, that's when your relevance will go up, because it's a clear signal to search engines, right? Search engines are built for humans, so that solves that problem that they're looking for. And you want to be at the very top for all of those keywords, and tools like SEMrush and Ahrefs will help you do that for you. And obviously, ChatGPT and Claude too.
All right. So it's like, how do you take a lot of that content and work with, specific podcasts or bloggers, right, that are, covering your industry or covering products like your own, and
Press
do that
releases.
outreach, press releases, right, and do that outreach so that you can get those backlinks.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's frustrating because the backlinks are out of the user's control, out of the builder's control. But if you've got great product, maybe it's product-led growth, whatever it is, people will talk about it. People will absolutely talk about it, and they will link your page on LinkedIn. And also, create social pages as well. So like X, YouTube, LinkedIn, just start putting out content. I know it takes a lot of time. You can have agents do it for you. But just put that out, list your domain as much as possible, and just get a buzz going about your product. Get a buzz going
And then
about,
if you've got a lot of UGC content that's starting to take
Yes.
off from the
Use it.
organic content that's created, exactly, use it. Don't just like repost, like find a way to use that in a case study, a blog, a newsletter, right?
Landing page,
So many
yeah,
different ways.
exactly.
Landing page, exactly.
When you were at Bolt, Mallory, were you there when I think it was Eric that put out a tweet, or I guess a post, that he said something like, "I realized the value of SEO, so now Bolt has made it easier, like for technical SEO side." Does that ring a
Yeah,
bell
there's
at all?
actually like a whole, like in the product itself, like they have an SEO area for you to essentially optimize your pages and your projects that
sick.
you're creating with Bolt. How in depth is it? Great question. I've just started playing around with it for my own website, but it
Mhm.
is it is something that you can
That's
have
great.
you have those options with Bolt
That's
when you're
that's
building a project.
also
Yeah,
an
that's
interesting
huge.
topic to bring up too, Charlie. Like in your experience, how much have you leaned on, like I'm just going through the pillars, right? And in pillar one's your content. So that is your keyword research, right? Like
Yeah.
figuring out what, again, domain name, child, like, but also your H1s and your H2s. That's all part of the content process, the pillar one process. How heavily do you lean on AI to help you do a lot of this? Or is it, what's your approach there?
So you can ask GPT or Claude, "Here's my domain, here's the idea behind the app, here's my ICP. Now come up with 50 keywords that you think," this is me talking to AI, "that you think would make sense." Get those 50 keywords, put those in SEMrush, do some keyword research, get the volume, take that CSV, export it, load that back up into the respective AI, and then have it run again, because that tells you,
Interesting.
you have so much data behind that, and then ask it, "Okay, based on this, what do you think my H1 should be on my index page? What do you think my H1 should be on our landing page? Our landing page about PDFs for education. Like what should that H1 be? And then what should the subsequent H2s be?" So AI, it plays a huge role. We'll have some prompts too, like in the show notes. But I mean, it saves so much time. It saves
I would figure.
unbelievable amount of
Because
time.
before AI, even you and I working together, right? It's like you do keyword research, content research, and it would take a couple days for turnaround,
Hours.
right? Just because
Yeah.
you have to.
Oh yeah.
You're not just taking what's spitting out from
Yeah.
Ahrefs or SEMrush to you also have to like validate it against other terms or what the keyword density is or the competition and
Yep.
how much you actually think you can drive in the set amount of time you have, right? Because
Yeah.
SEO also isn't, it's not like flipping the switch on with paid ads, right? Where you can turn it on and traffic comes in immediately. SEO takes weeks, months to even start showing
Yeah.
some return on what you've implemented.
Yeah, exactly. Once it kicks in,
And
though, I mean, Connor, my company would literally hire your company to do the reporting. So you've seen the
I've seen
data
it firsthand.
firsthand. It's like it will return millions and millions and millions of dollars when it's done
Yeah.
right. And you've got the domain authority, and you've got, in this case, product market fit. Yeah,
Mhm.
it absolutely works. And then you just pour more fuel on it with paid ads, and then it gets just
So
ripping.
my follow up here too is also like, in your opinion, I know enough about how everything kind of works holistically, right? Like community and branding, which is like
Mhm.
Mallory's, experience and what she's really great at. Like that definitely ties into SEO. Paid ads ties into SEO. It all works in tandem with one another. What's your take on like how they each support, each channel respectively? Like
How SEO supports like paid and email and then community.
yeah, and vice versa. Like how that all and in an ecosystem like you would want to build out.
Okay.
Don't you? Would you look at paid ads? Would you look at branding, community for clients, or is that kind of something that you would shy away from and say, hey, we're just going to implement the SEO piece of it?
I would, well, I guess that depends where you're at. Like, do you have some capital to put behind paid ads? I think you should get the SEO. Okay, so first thing first, get the domain, make sure it's clean. If you buy from GoDaddy, okay, cool. Put it into Bolt, put it into Lovable. Get the sitemap, make sure it's it can actually be crawled. Make sure your website can even be found in the freaking first place. Submit that to Google Search Console, get Google Search Console, wired up, submit the sitemap, get a verified domain where it says SC on the left-hand side. Get that thing verified, get a robots file, get all the technical BS out of the way. Start building content on there with parent and child pages. If at all possible, get it off of Lovable, get it off of Bolt, put it on a WordPress site so you can easily scale it so that you can link pages together more easily. So
or a framer, like a framer or workflow would
Framer
work really well
Framer
too.
Webflow, yeah. Put that in there. Make sure there's not a bunch of garbage code in there. All the animations will slow down a page, but generally speaking, make sure it's clean. Okay, it's indexed, it's cool, it's on Google. Start building out the content, start building out the content silos. Then once you've got some landing pages fired up, then I think that's when you start running paid ads. Then you can start doing the paid ads, then you can start doing retargeting, email. And I think at the very, very day one forefront of that, I think you start building the community as well. Because after talking to Mallory, I thought branding and community, to be honest, was I never even thought about it just because you couldn't quantify it in GA4. But now I've realized that, it's really important.
I think it depends. I will say, like, it's kind of similar to the beginning of your answer, Charlie. It really depends on what stage you're at, right? Like, if you haven't found product market fit yet, right, and you're still trying to figure that component out, brand, in my opinion, is not going to make this huge difference. I'm sure there's outlier examples of me being false in that, but I do think like that would not be the first place I would focus on if I'm like trying to find product market fit and put my product out into the world and learn from users. I think it's really when you find that PMF where I think brand starts to matter a lot more. And then community, right? Like going back to the user generated content piece, like building community, I think from day one is really important. Even if you only have 100 users, right? Out of your 100 users, are there just a handful that are interested in or really excited by what you're doing they want to volunteer to help, test, amplify, whatever it may be. And then how do you encourage them to create that user generated content off those keywords? Is it going to be Reddit posts? Is it going to be X? Is it going to be social posts, right? Like, what does that look like? Because that will ultimately help.
Even like that community, like you said, with 100 people, like that is so valuable. Like I'm on the PDF.ai website right now, and I'm on /use cases, and it says books, scientific papers, financial reports, product user manuals, legal documents, employee training documents. To me, those should all be individual pages. They are. It says training documents, chat with employee training documents. There's not a lot of content on here. I guess he doesn't, maybe at this point he doesn't need it, but I would build out at least 1,500, 2,000 words on the training documents page on how what he offers is the solution for training documents. Bait the hook to suit the fish, and then have, of course, proper keywords in there. And that's why I haven't touched a Framer website before, but with WordPress, you can just have templates and you can set the template.
You haven't played with Framer? That's crazy.
I know. I've never touched Framer before. So you can have like the hero image and then the H1 and then the H2s, and then you have your page template, and you can just hit scale from there. And then you can ask your community, okay, who is in the medical practice? What do you use that? What do you use this solution for? And then you can just build content around that.
Gotcha. Smart approach. I mean, Mallory, you said something too, which, I even have it in our upcoming newsletter, right? Kind of how everything pieces together. And especially coming from a paid background, that to me comes after SEO and even after branding in some capacity, right? Because, yes, you need to validate, you need to have your ICP and make sure that you're validating all of that beforehand before you dive down the rabbit hole of branding and community.
Yeah.
But without it, you could turn the switch on for Google ads all day and drive as much traffic as you want. But if the brand doesn't resonate and the message doesn't resonate, you're just going to get a high bounce rate, no engagement. And listen, you could be having the exact users you're looking for go to the site, but if it doesn't speak to them,
100%,
then you're basically just spending all this money on paid for absolutely no reason. So I'm almost curious, like it's all so it's not linear, but
it's not, but you're not wrong, because you do need that work to then kind of help inform the brand messaging and the positioning and what that looks like.
For sure.
And vibes do matter, like they do. Like when you land on a page, right? Even if you are trying to find product market fit, like it still matters. And it's like, how do you maybe like kind of predict, okay, these are my ideal ICPs. And from there, I'm going to build around them. And you may learn that they're not your ideal ICPs in 6 months,
True.
or maybe they
True.
don't want to pay for your product, right? Maybe they're not the right target, right? But at the time, like you got to kind of work with what you got. If you know, if you're building something and you're like, this is for everyone, I always tell people like initially, I'm like, no, you cannot do that. Like you're not going to find success there.
Mhm.
So really ask yourself, like, can you focus on it? It'd be great if you can focus on one ICP to just make sure that your messaging, your keywords, all of that are just as consistent as possible. But if you have a
Hmm.
few ICPs, which like when I was at Bolt, in the early days, we had like 8 to 10 different ICPs. And so it's
Wow.
like, how do you build for all of those? Which ones do you prioritize?
Mhm.
What's the consistent sort of messaging and through line and themes and
Yeah.
keywords throughout all those ICPs? Because there's too many, and that like you can't necessarily perhaps really build for all of them. So you really need to find those themes, between the
Good
ICPs to
point.
really nail
Yeah.
down that messaging and positioning.
Yeah,
So,
that makes total sense. And
so
I think
there's
just good, Charlie.
oh,
Sorry.
sorry, pardon me. There's 8 to 10 ICPs in the early days. How many were there when you left?
Actually, I would say 2 or 3 by the time I left. So
Wow.
they really were able to
That's
like
awesome.
the
Just
whole time
Drill
I was there,
down
I was
into
all
it.
drill down
yeah,
into
that's
it,
dope.
right? Like you're learning who's coming onto your platform, how they're using it, right? These specific ICPs,
Mhm.
how much they're willing to pay, et cetera, et cetera. Like we just learned over time, like, okay, we really targeted prosumers, and you can break that down in so many different ways because it's such a broad, right? Like
Yeah.
that's a very, very broad ICP. You got to break it down even further. But after a few months, I was like, you know what? After we learned XYZ about revenue, about retention, right? About what the really needs and problems are for these ICPs, it actually makes more sense for us to serve, enterprise and product managers or whatever it may be. And so it just allowed us to have that focus because we did those experiments,
Yeah.
right?
Gotcha.
So it just depends. To Connor's point, it's not linear. Like you very well may be changing these things 6 months in because you're learning more about your product and your ICP
Yeah.
and your messaging and how it
Mhm.
resonates, right? All of those things.
And
And
like,
even to SEO really quick, Charlie, too, because I
yeah,
didn't want to just negate that, right? Again, the branding, the community is
Yeah.
important when it comes to paid ads, but I think SEO is even more integral to it because a good site experience, a fast website, keeping keyword costs down for paid, like
Mhm.
this is why you should probably have your SEO plan dialed in before you even turn on Google Ads. Otherwise, again, to me, you're just wasting all this money without validating that the website experience is, optimal for a user. You're dialing into the right keywords, you're getting that traffic, right? Then you amplify it with paid. I think
Yeah.
again, it's not all linear, but the SEO piece I think is one of those first things everyone really needs to think through before just, hey, let me dive into Google Ads and set something up and drive traffic because I just
And
never see great results from it.
Mhm.
I feel
Mhm.
like SEO is one of those things where I see a lot of teams be like, we just have to do it, but it's not just doing it. Like you have to continue to do it. So I
Oh
think,
yeah.
right. So that's another thing I want to call out here is that I feel like for some reason there's an assumption around SEO that's like, okay, we did all of the main things we got to do. We're good. And it's like, no, you got to keep going.
That's like
You gotta keep
saying,
building.
I'm going to lose weight. And then just like, okay, well,
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch what I eat. I'm just going to eat like a trash panda and
I
just like
know.
not work
But
out and
I have
The
heard these
trash
be
things,
a
and I
disgusting
think it's
human.
like I have heard these things, and I think it's just an educational thing, right? Which is why
Yeah.
we're all here
Yeah,
on this
exactly.
podcast, obviously. But
And
yeah.
speaking of ICPs, let's say using Mallory's example, if they start with 8 to 10 ICPs and then later on you narrowed it down to only a handful or a small handful, take those old pages targeting those ICPs and just 301 them, combine them into those pages, into your ICP pages that actually are working. So keep that link equity, keep the page equity inside the domain. Like worst thing to do is just delete pages. Like you don't want to do that. Also, you should be running audits at least once a week, at the very least.
Oh, I have
Catch.
them automated for every client I work for that I'm like helping with that. Even just not if I'm even doing SEO, I'll just be like, hey,
Mm,
going to put you in Ahrefs. You're going to get a weekly
Yeah.
report. It's going to tell you broken links, redirect
Exactly.
stuff that's off, like rankings going down, right? Keywords that you're missing out on, et cetera.
Mhm.
And it's a huge benefit to them. And obviously to me, I'm looking out for the best interest of everybody. But
yeah.
yeah, second
it's-
that. You definitely have those reports set up because they're
Yeah.
integral to
And
to
it's
that kind of stuff.
holistic, right? Like if
Yeah.
there's something going on with SEO, it's like, okay, like break it down even further. Like what's yeah, exactly. What are we missing here? Are we seeing less backlinks? Are we seeing less content made about us? Are we seeing like really breaking that down?
It's like why are there broken links on the website?
Why are there
Like
broken links?
links
Yeah.
don't just magically break. Like
No.
something is going on there. So also pro tip, internal links are like the easiest. Well, I don't know the easiest.
Like
Are
link building mechanism.
no, like internal links. So what you could do, so what you should do, I'm not sure if Damon did this or not, but after, again, going back to the PDF.ai example, let's say you buy the domain, you can boost the 20% of the pages of the website that are producing 80% of the results, and you go into GA4 to find that, or hop into campaign pilots and it'll tell you. And what happens when you land on that page, you add, let's say, a couple paragraphs of like new content, of like new keywords, and then you internally link that page to a new page, or back to the home page, or back to like another page on the website. And you have to do it strategically, but internal links are like one of the quickest ways to boost your SEO on the site. So as you continue to build pages, always keep those top 20% pages in your reticle as target internal linking. So that boosts the authority of your website over time, because those pages are linking, and what you want to do is pull up the rest of the domain and search results by linking them. And of course, keep an eye on them. Monitor GA4 and Search Console under the respective KPIs and data points. But yeah, internal linking, with the right anchor text, and just prompt GPT. Just say, hey, this page is about this. Here's the URL. Paste all the content in there. Say this keyword has an opportunity to be anchor text. What can I link it to? And just copy in your sitemap, and then just hit go, and it'll give you like 5 ideas.
Got it. Really
that was
cool.
probably a lot.
It is.
a lot of
Well,
like very technical.
it's very technical in nature. I actually have a question that may kind of move the direction of this conversation differently, but I mean, you guys know this, like there's so many founders building in public. Every founder, like there are agencies that just focus on building personas and content for founders. And so my question is kind of like, for those founders that are actually building it in public, like how can that content feed SEO instead of sort of just being siloed to
Mhm.
specific social media platforms? Like what do you think?
Like, how can the persona, like the founder content,
Yeah, like
help in
how
SEO?
can correct versus just kind of having it stay on one specific, like LinkedIn as an example. Like the content is just there, but like how do you, I think, use that, I think, to sort of
So
be feed SEO essentially is what I'm asking.
So what you can do is you can have, let's say, PDF.ai, and then you can have a parent page be /team. No. Ideally, you want the parent page and the child page respectively, and then let's say it's Mallory's the founder. Ideally, you would want Mallory Lure to be the URL, to be in the title tag, to be in the meta description, and then that page is just about Mallory. So it's Mallory's bio. It links to the LinkedIn. It links to the X. It links to, I don't know, let's say you have a YouTube account, but so maybe it can be like about us, and then that's Mallory's AI app, and then there's like a card, and it's Mallory's face, and then you click on that, and then it's all about Mallory. So have an individual page about the founder, and yeah, put your email address and then your social channels on there, but everything about Mallory on there, just as much as possible. And then eventually platforms will pick it up, like LinkedIn, like X, maybe even press releases, I'm sure. Just make it as easy as possible for, TechCrunch, those news outlets to find Mallory. So by putting up a page all about Mallory, you've solved that problem.
That makes sense.
I hope that answers that.
Yeah, it's again, I think it's a lot. It's so much to unpack because it's highly technical, all of the SEO stuff.
This is a good exercise. Just go to ChatGPT, go to Claude, give it that scenario, that question, and then see what it comes up with. I would guess it's something around the lines of have an about us page, and then /Mallory Lure, and then her position at the AI company, and then just a huge bio about Mallory. A couple of pictures, maybe a picture of the pop-up steam room. I do this in the morning. I cold plunge. Maybe
stuff like that.
So that being said too, Charlie, right? It's like the recommendation here is, yeah, if you want to start validating things, of course, it's like, I use ChatGPT, Claude every day for that kind of stuff. But it sounds like unless you have a true technical understanding of a lot of different moving pieces, it's also hard to just take this entirely by yourself and implement it. Or would you say, hey, listen, you can use ChatGPT to guide you through the entire process that you just went through pretty efficiently?
You can use an AI model. I mean, ChatGPT, Claude. I mean, you can have agents create content every day for you. You can have, so yeah, look, it's so much easier now. Like, we were talking about earlier, it took hours to do keyword research. With SEMrush, which Ahrefs, I'm partial to SEMrush. You can get that keyword research. You can upload it. You can plug it into ChatGPT. Tell it the idea around your app. Just start like a new project. Keep that centralized, and then you can just over time just keep uploading keywords. Have it learn your website, have it scrape your website, and just ask it for suggestions. Like, look, I have a AI PDF tool. Who would be interested in this outside of academia? And then maybe you have lawyers, maybe you have doctors, and then you can build content around that. Well, what kind of doctors would, maybe that's going a little deep, but if you really want to, hit hard and like drill into that profession, I think that's a good way. And AI is so easy. Well, I shouldn't say easy. It helps so much by doing that.
Yeah.
I would ask I would ask ChatGPT and I would ask Claude, because you'll get different answers, and then see which one aligns better with what you're trying to do with the app and the content.
Okay, so I'm learning here as well that, and this makes sense to me, but if you really want to be able to test these keywords a lot faster than what SEO is able to really provide, putting out social posts, especially even if you have a smaller following around specific like keywords in posts or what have you, could be a really easy way to test. Paid ads, of course, is another way to test that out, but without putting paid behind it.
Yeah.
That's the best way to test, right? You're just going to be able to get more reach there. But, if you're seeing high engagement posts on social, perhaps it kind of validates or pre-validates some of those keywords. So
I think so. I think the keywords, you can use SEMrush, Ahrefs for volume. And I like Glimpse as well, because Glimpse tells you the trend. Is it going up? Is it going down? If it's, tells you historical data. So is it going, has it been upward trending in the last month? If so, by how much? In the last quarter? If so, by how much? And then by the year as well. So I like SEMrush and I like Glimpse together. And then we'll just plug it in there. And then, just run with those keywords.
Interesting. Charlie, do you see a world in which AI can fully take this over at some point in the near future, right? Because I know a lot of people talk about that too. It's like, yeah, I can want AI to automate as much as possible. But again, to me, it still just seems like you need that human brain behind it to really make sure everything's up to snuff, right? I've seen content created by AI and it's terrible. It sounds robotic. It doesn't have keyword insertion where it should be.
The M dashes.
But yeah, like the M dashes we talk about. Like, where do you see it though going in within the next 6 months to a year? Do you see it being more automated or kind of remaining as is?
I think it'll be more automated. I think it's great at giving you content ideas. Like it's AI. The more context you give it, the better the output you will get. I don't ever think it'll be 100% automated. It's too laborious, and it requires just oversight to have it be 100% automated. Like I see SEO platforms. I just don't think that is sustainable.
Can like give it fully to an agent to just be like, here you go, do the whole thing, and we'll check in with you in 15 minutes.
Yeah, I think even then it just requires oversight, because look, that's your website, like that's your customer acquisition channel. That's the heartbeat of your company.
It's your storefront, digital storefront.
Yeah, like do you want it compromised by an agent that just went nuts or something? That maybe tripped up or something happened, and like I don't think it will get to that point. Maybe I mean,
interesting.
I just don't think it will get there, and even then, it just worries me. I
mean, I see a lot of mistakes made by startups, even people a little past the startup phase, where again, there's so much reliance on AI, like content generation being the first thing I noticed, right? And I can create one blog a day as long as I'm using, ChatGPT to produce it for me and not really edit it too much. And the results are terrible. Like it doesn't drive traffic, it doesn't improve over time, doesn't help the domain authority. I just kind of see it fall short. So I think it's one of those things that people should be wary of. You can go ahead, implement everything Charlie is telling you, but don't have that full reliance on content generation because that's where it falls short.
Right. And now these freaking search engines are getting so good now on just detecting AI bullshit that
Yeah.
your website
Interesting.
will get compromised. So look, put in as much human touch as possible. I know at scale it's hard, I know, but put in as much human touch as possible, like case studies, like UGC,
Yeah.
stuff like that, quotes, just put that in your website just as much as possible, and stand out, just bring a human element to your domain.
Mhm.
It
Yeah,
doesn't always have
I
to
was
be about
actually
keywords.
I was going to ask like what should app builders stop doing immediately when it comes to SEO, and it feels like this is it. This
AI
is
slop.
right AI
Yeah.
slop.
AI
Just
slop.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So in the context of PDF.ai, it would be something like write a 1,000 word blog post about people using AI for PDFs, and then it just puts out garbage.
Gotcha.
Don't do that. Have a proper hierarchy. First of all, it should be. I'm not sure if I would hope PDF.ai does this. It should be /blog/title
It
of
is.
the blog. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
good. And then you should have following the proper SEO techniques. Yeah, look, if you use AI to create blogs, okay, it's not the end of the world, but just make it sound like it's from a human.
And look,
Yeah.
if you are not, so say you're someone who's listening to this and you're like, oh my gosh, but like I'm so terrible at copy myself. So it's like, I mean, I would look into if you can, I feel like they're pretty affordable. Like maybe you hire a copywriter, freelance or contracting wise, that can just kind of like
Yeah.
take what you already have and just like get that 10%, right? That
Yeah.
like 10% of humanist touch, creativity, storytelling that could be like placed in to get that article in a place where it's like, okay, this wasn't just AI slop. So
There's great talent on Upwork.
yeah, great
on there.
talent on Contra, Upwork. There's plenty of ways to find someone to
Mhm.
help you sort of just get to that 100% mark with the content. So
Yeah.
And it'll pay for itself if
Yep.
you
Yeah,
do
and
that.
I'm partial to, if you have to use AI, I'm partial to Claude for content writing versus
Yeah. I think
ChatGPT.
is better
So
there.
Mallory, when you were at Bolt, was there ever an emphasis on or like feedback from the community of like how to do SEO, or it's like maybe the builder community at Bolt was like, okay, like we can build an app. How do we do SEO? What is it?
it was a request. It
Is
was
there
like, how do
value?
we
Oh, it
make
was.
sure? Yeah, it was definitely like a request, right? Like if you're going to actually put out a website, it's not just, and I think that's the vibe coding space, right? Initially, it's been known as like a place to just kind of create toys or mock-up pages, but
Mhm.
nothing really at scale. And so this, right? For you to really actually deliver something at scale, you need to have SEO implemented into your page, into your website. And so that like as like we started learning more, it's like, well, if we want people to build serious websites and serious products, they're going to need to have access to this. And so that was something that the community had requested. And if we want to expand outside of mockups and pages, which makes total sense, then you've got to be able to provide that to customers and users.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an integral piece to it. So
Yeah.
so the sense in the world. Charlie, I wanna basically do a lightning round with you now, like we do with most
do
guests
it.
we have.
Bring it.
So since you're the technical guest here, speaking to all the SEO experience, let's jump into this really quick. All
Okay.
right. So what's the single most important SEO move for a new AI tool? Like what's number one thing they should be doing?
Getting it indexed.
Getting it indexed. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If you had a favorite free SEO tool to name for builders out there, what would you suggest?
Isn't Moz free?
Moz local?
How do you
I had-
spell that?
MOZ.
MOZ? I've
MOZ.
used Moz.
I thought there was a portion of it is free. Either that
I'm
or
sure there is. Oh,
Ask-
it is free. You're right. It is free.
Okay. Or that or ask the public. Just something that
Oh, Ask the Public's great.
something that will give you an answer of what people are looking for so you can get your solution in front of that.
Gotcha. Okay. So we have the favorite free SEO tool. Let's go. One thing founders get wrong about backlinks.
They're not end all be all.
Really?
So once you hit topical authority, I mean, backlinks help, but once you hit topical authority, there's a point where it's more important to index your content, your pages, versus backlinks.
Interesting.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So, all right. So I think before we wrap this portion up, Charlie, very
That's
much
it?
appreciate all of the insight. No,
Bruh.
I got another question for you.
Oh yeah, bring it. You want to
Where
bet
can
on it?
listeners learn more or ask questions?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So there's this badass website. Well, we got bullied into changing the name. It's now called buildersgrowthlab.ai.
I feel like
And
we're all on the same page here. We love it. You know what I mean? It's better. It's better.
and sign up for the newsletter. So that'll hit your inbox every week. And look, we've got advice on customer acquisition. So covering paid ads, SEO, and brand and community. You can learn more on there or from our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe.
Sick.
That's it.
Yeah.
No more. We got, bruh.
Do you want to talk on SEO for another couple hours, man? I'm all for it.
No, I'm not. I gotta go. I love you guys, but I'm like, I can't for a few more hours. We're gonna have to break
I
this down into
can't
chunks.
I
'Cause
feel
it's ju- I'm
like
too-
you
I'm
could
not-
break it down.
Because I'm not technical, so I think but I did learn a lot here, and I think it was digestible. But I'm just not. I'm not technical, so
I
know.
gotcha. Yeah. And look now, okay, the takeaway of this is use AI for your SEO efforts. We're gonna put some prompts in the description, show notes, and get rolling that way. Just get content onto your website. Don't just deploy it and just leave it and just run paid ads. Like just get some content on your freaking website.
Yep.
And have the URLs properly structured. So don't do pdf.ai/slr?14. That's like a default setting in WordPress or whatever. I see those. I'm like, what the hell are these people doing? Like, clean your shit up and actually, make it presentable on your website. But yeah, man, once SEO gets cranking, it's like when we first got that project cranking, Connor, Steven's website, Elevate, I was like,
For Elevate?
like, this is like witchcraft. Like he would put in $1 to us and then we give him back like $10, just like on a monthly basis. It was just like this flywheel.
It's awesome.
So, yeah, once that gets going, it's like magic. It's freaking awesome.
Foundational SEO, gotta apply it. Otherwise you're gonna be behind.
Get it indexed, get some content down there, and get some user signals on there, and you'll be
awesome.
Good. Cool. All right. Does that wrap up this interview?
I think this wraps up the interview with Charlie. Brought to you by Campaign Pilots.
Yeah.
All right. Good, because
thank you, Charlie.
Of course.
Thanks, Charlie. Appreciate the insight.
Anytime y'all want to sit down for a couple hours and talk about search engine optimization.
I think like walkthroughs would be so cool to go through, just like breaking it down piece by piece to show how you do some of the keyword research, how you use AI back and forth with it.
Yeah.
So I think eventually at some point, love to go through all of that stuff too. But this was, again, really insightful. I think the listeners probably got a bunch of stuff out of here that they can use. So
I feel like this episode is like foundational, right? Like this is kind of like the building blocks that you need to start with before you expand. And so that's the way I would think about this episode and all of the thoughts that you're able to share, Charlie. Wow, what a riveting interview that we had with Charlie.
Get the fuck out of here, Mallory.
Okay, I'm sorry. You know what? This would have been good, but you laughed, Charlie. Okay. All right. We're back, everyone. We are back. And we, like I said,
my mind is blown from all of the SEO knowledge.
Y'all had to glue your skulls back together.
No, but I actually did learn a lot of new technical keywords that I like, even when I was like, what's parent page? What's child page? Like, I've never heard to it. Like, I never have heard it called like that before. So I did learn some things today.
Wouldn't that be the same thing as a breadcrumb, Charlie, or is that different?
I
want to continue. I want to continue this SEO chat badly.
I thought that was like a part of a nursery rhyme or something. Like, what do you mean breadcrumb?
Where like it has the URL on the page, like in the top left corner. That's the breadcrumb.
Yeah.
The WordPress setting.
Interesting.
Something like that. I thought I saw it in Google Search Console anywhere. Anyway, I digress. We're on. It's AI topics happening this week, right?
Yes.
About some cool, fun stuff.
Lots of interesting things happening every single week, of course. First thing I think that we're going to kind of chat through is app pricing and free trials. And I know that this has been just such a topic of conversation. I recall Elena at Lovable releasing a blog post a few weeks back around sort of
She
just
did, really.
the importance of, credits and how it's kind of like she wishes it wasn't sort of important, but it is right now. And then I know Rob Hoffman put out a tweet saying that if you're still offering free trials for your SaaS in 2026, you're NGMI. So we've scaled two profitable, but yeah, okay. Okay. Interesting. But yeah, so I guess like with a lot of the products that we've been testing, like what has that process been like? And like what are our thoughts around just app pricing in general?
You know, I'm going to ask you first, Mallory. I'm going to throw this. I'm going to porcupine this, as my old sales manager would say. I'm going to porcupine the question back to you, Mallory. So I'm going to toss the microphone back to you, as you've had the most experience
Yeah, I
on this
think
call with
that,
pricing. Do you do free trials? Do you do 2 weeks? Do you do a month?
yeah.
Do you not do it? Like what's the whole philosophy behind that at
I'm not a
Bolt?
pricing expert per se here, but I think what I will say is that pricing and subscriptions in the AI space right now remind me of early sort of data and text message plans that
Mhm.
we dealt
Hmm.
with in the early days of having, cell phones. Like you used to have to pay for minutes. We used to have to pay for our amount of text messages. We used to actually also have to pay for the amount of data that we were using each month when eventually you could start browsing the web with our phones. And so to me, AI is sort of seeing something similar here because all of these AI sort of products are at the helm of, tapping into the Claude API or this LLM or there's agents attached to XYZ, right? Like you have to pay for the costs of utilizing right those products. And so right now we're seeing a lot of kind of usage based type pricing being kind of bundled into a subscription plan of some sort. Um, but what I will say is it's a little frustrating because there are times where, like, for example, I pay for the pro plan with ChatGPT, but I actually hit the max amount of like agent, credits that I could use. And
Yeah.
so,
Hmm.
there's even limitations within these plans, right? So say you are someone who has a specific subscription with Bolt, Lovable, ChatGPT, Claude, right? Like you will find right now that you can only use a lot of those subscription tiers to a certain extent until it's like you can't, right? Because like it's just becomes cost wise, right? For them, it doesn't make any sense because many of them are paying based off of usage, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So I mean,
Okay.
over time, the hope is that like all of this stuff will become a lot more affordable over time. I think that's why we're seeing the rise of data centers being like created all over the world. Like
Hmm.
the hope is that this will be a lot more affordable over time. And so because I think we'll get out of it just like we did with the early cell phone era of paying for all of these things specifically when it's like it's just all bundled now and
Hmm.
I can send as many text messages as I want and I don't even have to think about it, right? Or I can be on the phone for however long and I don't have to be mindful of my minutes. So I think we'll see that transition once we see,
Interesting.
data centers and a lot of these resources just become cheaper over time.
Interesting. I think I think pricing sends such a strong signal to a user, whether an agency, whether it's an app. Are you a premium app? Are you a premium agency? So, with that in mind, I think it's better to price for premium customers because they are less,
Less likely to churn.
yeah, less likely. They're more involved. And, weird thing happened with my agency when I went from like a broad agency doing like web design, SEO, some paid ads, I think, and some like email stuff, and then we just did SEO just for a certain type of customer, but charged like pretty high monthly retainers. We actually got like more interest, and of course we had a podcast to build our authority, but it was such a
Yeah, I believe
strong
it.
signal to say like, hey, you're gonna pay us. Our monthly retainer is X. Here's the case studies. Look, if you're in, let's roll. If you're not, look, it's not for everybody. And I think this is just my opinion. I think it sends such a strong signal to be the most expensive. Like assuming you have a great app, of course, and it's a ton of
Sure, the
value.
product actually,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
has
assuming it
value.
actually
Yeah.
works, then to be the cheapest. I think the cheapest is just a race to the bottom. You don't
Yeah.
get the right customers.
Yeah.
and you're just putting out more flyers and customer support tickets with
Yeah.
like really cheap pricing.
Um,
That's what I thought. Now, I think, pardon me. I think to start, you want case studies, you want feedback. Ideally, you want feedback more than anything.
I
I
think it
think
just depends on
2
what
weeks
you're
for
building
free.
for. Like
Yeah.
if you're building for consumers, you most likely will have some sort of free trial at Bolt. I believe we had like X amount of prompts that you can sort of input, and
Hmm.
like we just wanted folks to get to the magic moment of like creating the project or the website or what have you, and then over time as you use more of it, you have no choice but to actually pay for the product itself. But if you're building for enterprise, it probably doesn't make sense for you to even maybe have a free trial. I that is like,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
It may not be, to your point. I
I,
think it just depends on where you're at, like who you're targeting. It depends on just so many things, to
I
be honest
think
with you.
yeah, there's a ton of variables here. To me, it
Yeah.
just comes down more to like where are you at with the build, right? Are you like fully confident that this thing is works without a hitch? There's no hiccups on the user experience side, et cetera. And if so, sure, price it to whatever your heart desires, right? Whatever you think it's worth. But I think if I don't necessarily agree with this kind of bootstrap approach of, listen, our app could be halfway done and maybe it doesn't fulfill the need entirely or it's buggy, but we're going to make you pay the full price anyway. I think there needs to be, I always say validation. I think getting people in at the free cost is what really also helps validate your
Yeah.
product and get the feedback you need to make it better and reiterate
Yeah.
until it's to the point where you could say, hey, listen, free app pricing for the first 14 days is done. Now it's just X amount when you want to start. But
Yeah.
each use case is different. I think it's such a hard topic to dial in on like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we should have a pricing specialist on here.
I think that's a great
Yeah.
idea. Okay, we'll see who we can find with that, but it would be nice, I agree, for someone to come on and kind of give our listeners a breakdown of how they should approach pricing,
Yeah.
depending on whether they're focused on enterprise, consumer, et cetera. So,
Have
um,
Have you heard, Mallory, that it's harder in the app space, SaaS, to sell to customers than it is to B2B?
no, I didn't know that.
Have you heard that before?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I heard that.
That's
Maybe
interesting.
it was maybe. I'll have to pull. Okay. Anyways. All right. Moving on.
No, pull it up. I would be curious to learn more about that because I that wouldn't be my assumption, but I'm sure there's something interesting there around that.
Okay.
And I'm not a B2B marketing expert personally, so
Okay.
um
I'll find the
yeah.
video. Maybe it's not in the video. Anyways. Okay. Moving on.
Go find it. Moving
Yeah.
on. Okay, next topic. And I think we're going to do a whole episode around this. So, but the topic is really around when to raise capital. Do you go VC or angel? And so, if you're listening to this and you're trying to kind of figure out what that should look like, I'm happy to kind of like start sharing my experience. But I would say like the first question to ask yourself is like, are you building a VC backed business? And it's interesting because a lot of founders that I've met, and even myself as a previous founder, have been like, yeah, of course I'm building a VC,
Mhm.
type of company. And it's like, if you're not planning to scale your product to millions and millions of people,
It's VC math.
then like it doesn't make sense for you to
Yep.
actually approach VCs. And quite frankly, I've seen a lot of founders kind of waste their time sort of pitching and trying to get fundraising when they don't even have an MVP yet. And like 5 years ago, I could understand that, but this day and age, with all the AI tools we have, like you've got to have some sort of MVP. And if anything, a lot of these VCs also require traction. So ask
Yep.
yourself the question, do you have, early signs of product market fit? Do you have a workable MVP, right?
Distribution.
Are you built, what's your distribution plan? And
Mhm.
answer honestly, are you building a VC backed startup or a VC type of startup and business? And then I will say too, if you are building something really early and you actually perhaps just need, maybe you only need 10K to get started, whatever it may be, to me, going down the angel route, right? So those that are sort of investing single-handedly into founders. When I personally worked on my own startup, I believe I raised with like 20 plus angel investors initially, to just kind of get our product off the ground, to support ourselves, et cetera. So that is also another route. Very different sort of process from raising with a VC, but they'll ask a lot of the same questions. And many times, like they're just investing because they believe in you and they
Yeah.
believe in the team that you're pulling together
Mhm.
versus like, ooh, you have like a product that has traction. And you'll see that a lot of angels are actually they're open to investing earlier stages or than a VC. Like a lot of VC pages will be like, we support early stage startups, but then it's like you go through the process and you find out like, oh, I need all of these things to even be like to
Mhm.
maybe even get a check, right? So I think a lot of VCs say they want to like support early stage startups, and to some extent they do, but like it's like, well, I got to have these boxes checked, whereas an angel is sort of more about like, yeah, your business plan, all this other stuff is important, right? But like they're kind of investing in you.
We'd
Yeah.
say more like
Um,
vibes and like kind of vibe
yeah,
and
Well,
like
I,
feel for where the potential
I
is for
think
what you're
it's
doing.
investing in the jockey, not the horse, and that the jockey will
right,
find the right horse and
Well, that's a good
just
way to put
right.
it.
take it
Especially
take it from
because
there.
so many first-time founders fail.
Yeah.
It's very common for first-time founders to flounder, and so it's like I want to invest in this founder because when they do get into a rough spot, I believe they can pivot, right? They can change
Yeah.
directions and they're capable of doing that, and I believe in them. So, yeah, I think those would be some of the things to kind of start considering, but I would love to do a whole episode on this, and we can definitely bring on an angel investor. We can also bring on maybe in a different episode a VC, right, to kind of get the breakdown of what
Yep.
they're really looking for, what their process is like, what are the things you really need to consider before you even dive into that world. And I have a lot more to say on this, but yeah.
So you're obviously in that space. You're an SF, being with Bolt. Would you find that VCs roll their sleeves up like angels do? That's a no.
Um, I
Okay.
don't know. I mean, look, like I've seen they should. I mean, they definitely should. You want VCs and angels that are going to be like, if you need someone to amplify your post on LinkedIn or repost it, they're going to be there for you,
Mhm.
right? Like like maybe you need an introduction, right, to someone and they've got a great network. Maybe you're not great at distribution, but this VC or angel is, and so you're going to be able to tap into that. And that's the other thing to ask yourself is like, of these VCs and angels that I'm going to work with, what are the complementary skill sets or things that they have that my business really needs that I can learn from and or take advantage of. And so I think it just depends on who you partner in the VC world. I'm not here to say that all VCs are not helpful, but I do think that many of them don't come from an operating background. Like they haven't really dove into
Yeah.
building their own businesses or really being a part of the startup world. Whereas I find a lot of angel investors kind of have been through it. Like a lot of
And
them
that,
have like worked at all these
yeah,
startups. Like they understand it really well.
that's
At
assuming
least,
that angel, the respective angel investor, actually has been through that process and scaled a
correct,
company, started
correct,
it, scaled it. Yeah,
correct.
had an exit, has been through that.
But like anyone that you decide to put on your cap table, whether it's a VC, whether it's an angel investor, right? Like you should always ask yourself the question, like, how could I tap into this person to support? And there's so many different ways to actually do that. Some of them I've seen, some of them be open to like judging the hackathon or, like as an example at Bolt, right? And sort of becoming a part of the community. So there's so many different ways you can get support
Cool.
from your investors, but that would be something because I think a lot of founders get obsessed with the check. Like they want the check, right? And like,
Hmm.
sure, but like getting an investor off your cap table is apparently more difficult than divorce. And so
I've
you
heard
really
that. Yeah,
want to
yeah.
make
I heard.
sure,
I was going to literally
right?
bring that up. Like I've heard it's
Yeah.
harder
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
get them off your cap table.
So
What
make
podcast was that on?
sure. I don't know actually what it was on, but I've heard the same thing. So it's got to be from some I don't know, some tech investor type of podcast. But yeah, so like make sure you are, because you're giving away a percentage of your company. And sometimes in
Yeah.
the early stages, you don't really think about that until like you're lucky enough to get to the later stages of 5 to 10 years in building your business and you need to start raising more capital or what have you. And you get to finally see, or you get an acquisition, right? And you get to kind of see the fruits of your labor there. But
Mm.
yeah. Yeah, I've heard some stories. So
All right.
be on the lookout. So yes, but we'll do an episode on that in the future.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Cool. Okay. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is just kind of all things OpenAI and ChatGPT. There's been a lot of interesting, I think, updates around OpenAI in general. And I wanted to bring this up too because I was actually driving around San Francisco this weekend. And as you guys know, I'm consistently bombarded with like the worst of the worst AI ads. Trust me, a lot of them don't make sense. And which, maybe it's because I'm not
Do you cringe
technical.
when you see these, Mallory? Are you like,
Yes,
oh
I do.
gosh,
Really?
like
I
how could you?
I'm obsessed with billboards and ads. Like I will
Really?
literally be in the car. I'm like, that is shit. That makes no sense. The messaging is terrible. Like, ooh, that's good. I'm like, if I'm not driving, I'm like getting my camera out. I'm like trying to take a picture so I can refer to it later on, with other marketers. But I do. I get a little, it's because I'm a marketer, I think. But like, I
I
wish
do
there
the
were
same
zero
thing.
billboards.
Yeah,
I
like
for
billboards
billboards,
for
I
sure.
don't.
I don't think is like I can see, Mallory, how you would like really examine. Again, I think that's more of your world, right?
It
Especially
is.
the
It
out of
is.
home stuff, right? For me,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, all right, billboard's a billboard. Sometimes it's dumb, sometimes it's not. But I
Yeah.
will see some like even TV commercials or whatever. It's just some of them are just so nonsensical, AI or not, that I'm
Yeah.
just like, what were you thinking? What's the message you're trying to get across here? But
Exactly, exactly. And so I was telling these two that I saw an OpenAI ad about ChatGPT, and it was very human-like in that it just showed a photo of two people trying to fix their car, but looking at their phones because they're trying to
Mhm.
get ChatGPT to, give them instructions on how to actually fix the car. And it was very simple, just said like ChatGPT in the middle of it, and it just had this photo. And so to me, I was like, ooh, this is interesting because I think what I'm starting to see is sort of the humanness element of advertising in San Francisco when it comes to AI.
Mhm.
And that is big because I've seen personally in the last 2 years, I've seen a lot of ads that are like, this is their last piece of software. Don't hire humans, do this. Like there's really just like a lot of, I don't know, it's just gross marketing. I don't like it personally. I'm not really for that kind of marketing, but yeah, I've noticed that. I thought it was really interesting. So I think like, and it's important that I mention OpenAI here because they are the trendsetter in the AI space, right?
Mhm.
And so what I'm thinking is that we're going to see a lot more AI companies move in this direction over the next 12 to 24 months. And I will also say that I think it's because like there is a rise of negative sentiment around AI with Gen Z and young people. They don't want to use it. They don't want to be near it. They don't like what it does to the environment. They don't like a lot of different things. And so I wonder if like we're seeing that because it's in response to this sentiment and that like, oh wait, like we're not just AI. Like there's this humanist element to it that makes it useful, friendly, what have you. And
I
I
was
think
about
showing the use case of like, fixing the car makes it very like, oh, it's not going to replace you, right? It's just helping you in this sort of situation that you're in.
Yeah, my question to you, Mallory, and I somewhat think this too after you kind of just went through everything. Like, do you think they've almost like tapped out their market, right? Their current market, right? It's that's
Yes.
Mm.
it.
Yes, that's
It's
no,
watered
that's
down, and they need to bring new people in because it's like, yeah, sure, builders, everybody knows it in that space. We know it. Most
yep,
marketers know it, but I mean, your reach is only so far, right? Until you can
absolutely.
get to the everyday person and show them how they apply this to their everyday life. And like you said, humanize it, take away some of the, hesitation and caution around it. That it's like you're just going to hit your limit of people who use it, and that's it. You don't have any way to scale up after that. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
imagine it's part of that too.
That's a great point. I think it's absolutely a part of that. And then I was telling you guys before the pod too that like I think this was a few weeks ago, so not super new news, but like they are now going to allow adults to like create erotica content as an example. Like
That's so
to me,
wild.
it feels like a cash
That is
grab personally,
bananas.
just knowing like where if you look at like the chart of like OnlyFans is like the largest platform like on the internet that like makes a shit ton of money in comparison to a lot of other these tools that have invested billions and trillions of dollars into creating the best LLM, creating all these data centers, right? So I almost wonder if like that is a move of desperation. I don't know, but it feels like it.
I
I will
think
say
it's,
that.
we spoke about this too before we hopped on, Mallory, where it's, yeah, I definitely think it's a cash grab. I also think it's the path of least resistance for them to do something that they can just get out there, get people to utilize it because it's, I'm reading an article where they had plans to leverage OpenAI for ads, for shopping, health agents,
Yeah.
personal assistants, and they're pushing all of that
Yep.
out further and further and further away because it's probably very complicated to put all that together. And something like this erotica creation is like, oh yeah, you could have done that anyway. Now we're just,
We're just
really
talking
throwing it
about
out
it.
there and letting you know,
Yeah.
right, we're talking about it so you know that it's capable of doing that. So I think
Interesting
it's
timing for
But you brought up a good
Q4.
point. Interesting timing and good point,
Well,
Connor,
that
because
and
there's
that.
been a few articles coming out. I think like Sam Altman tweeted something around how like they're declaring code red, especially as like
yeah.
Google catches up in the
Mm.
AI race. And they announced, right, that like Altman said that they're going to be delaying initiatives like ads, shopping, health agents, and personal assistants so that
Yep.
they can improve and focus on ChatGPT as a whole. And those core features are things like, greater speed, reliability, better personalization, and ability to answer more questions is kind of what they're focused on. So they're going to put those things off in the meantime, which is, yeah, interesting time.
It is very interesting. I mean, also listen, that's just a product of the competition in the space too. Again, it's like last
Yeah.
week or 2 weeks ago, Claude, Gemini, like everybody's just rolling out a brand new updated product. And I think they're kind of realizing that people are catching up to where they're at and they have to shift their focus to just making their platform better. So it's still the mainstay, right? They want to be the Google of AI right now.
I think it's
Yep.
it's pretty exciting where this is going. I mean, with Anthropic, they're ex OpenAI employees, aren't they? The founders, the brother and sister.
I think so.
I thought
think
they
so.
were researchers.
Yeah.
And I mean, that alone, look,
Yep.
if I started, campaign pilots and let's say, y'all started something else with it, I would be like, I would just go, I mean, we're going toe to toe. Like it would be like they say in the media arms race. I mean, I'm hoping to see some pretty cool stuff the next calendar year. And
Yeah.
interesting timing with that erotica stuff. That CES is always was it first second week in January.
Yeah.
in
Yeah. Yeah.
Vegas.
Mhm.
I went to
Yep.
that show for 5 years in a row, and AVN was always the next week. So you'd see a bunch of guys like stay for like 3 weeks. Like,
Oh my God.
I
3 weeks
know.
in Vegas
Oh,
wants to make
Jesus.
me
It'd be
die.
brutal.
God,
Yeah.
no.
You guys,
So
I
like
can't.
I wonder how much of that of the AVN is gonna focus on OpenAI and all that. And I remember
You
a booth because my old sales manager did it when VR was like a really big thing in like 2017, I think, like the headsets.
yeah.
Yep.
It was like adult content, and he's like, "Dude, you gotta like." I'm not, and there's like 200 people in line at the booth, and it's
So
I'm
weird.
not- It's
I
it's just
know. I worked at a lot
just
of
not
gaming
my thing.
conventions where like, there would be a booth around like, VR or whatever, girlfriend or whatever the
Yeah,
fuck. So
like
yeah.
what that's
Yeah.
that's their
It's
thing.
weird.
That's cool. That's their jam. But I mean, look, it's a lot of people are into that. So
I
It'll be
don't,
interesting
that's
to
a
see
whole
where it goes next
topic
couple
that I
months.
think would be worthy talking about in itself because I have a lot of strong opinions around the rise of AI and human connection and like what, my fears around the next 10 to 20 years of, I think someone in Japan just married the first like
That's
ChatGPT bot.
wild.
come on,
Just
No,
wild.
I'm not. This is happening. Like, this is the stuff I keep tabs on, like the
Oh.
psychosis stuff. There's a whole Reddit subreddit thread about AI boyfriends now. Yeah. So, and like, look, don't want to dive too into this, but the dating pool right now, and I've been in a relationship for 17 years. So what do I know about the dating pool? But I think we're seeing a lot of women who are not opting into relationships. We're seeing a lot of men that are experiencing a lot of loneliness and isolation. I think we're just right. And like, I'm worried that AI is going to kind of play into that in a way where it's going to scale this AI human sort of connection versus us
Yep.
opting to have human relationships and human connection. So I have a lot of thoughts on this and perhaps as a future episode.
It's a good
but
episode. It blurs
Yeah.
the lines so much between that. Like it's scary. To me, it's
Yeah.
actually a little scary.
It
what's
is.
the movie with Joaquin Phoenix and the robot? Doesn't he like fall in love?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I forget the name of it.
I heard it's pretty good.
Well,
If
what
only
is
there's
there?
a way we could figure it out.
If only there was a way. There's a few.
I'm sure
AI.
you could ask AI.
I feel like Smart House on 1999 on the Disney Channel is like the OG AI show, or
Smart House.
AI movie. It's so old. It's like basically a woman robot runs the house, and then eventually she comes to life in human form. It's very, very like 1999. It's so
Okay.
old. But anyway, Yeah, I'd love to dive into this at some point. But it's pretty wild. And look, if it's wild for Claude and OpenAI or Anthropic, all these tools, right? Like, imagine how hard and challenging it is for founders that are building in this space, that are somewhat reliant on these tools, right? And maybe even creating specific tools that like ChatGPT or like Claude can't do well, right? But it's hard to build in because you never know. 2 months from now they have an update, and it's like, well, my product is
Man.
completely irrelevant
Yeah,
now,
then it
right?
gets
Like that's
crushed.
hard. It's
Yeah,
hard.
that's terrifying. Now,
So
I thought MCPs was going to bury campaign pilots. When it came out, I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me right now. You got to be kidding me. But luckily it hasn't.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
worth you on that. Cool.
Cool. Well, that's everything, you guys, and sort of the topics for this week.
Good stuff.
So good stuff. But this has been great. This has been a good episode. We're just like, able to dive into Charlie's world and his actually, I was going to say every day, but you were telling us earlier that you haven't done SEO in a few weeks, actually. You said like
It's been
3 weeks
a
or
couple
something.
months.
Oh, months. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it's been like 3-4 months. I haven't done keyword research, and I didn't do much before, but yeah, the SEO world, I just didn't put my brain into that. I've been building campaign pilots. So, no,
Makes
like
sense.
it's still a fascinating art form, and it's not going anywhere with who bought SEMrush?
Adobe.
Adobe, yeah, look, that's a signal. It's SEO is not going anywhere. And if anything, it gets more important, and it's critical for your customer acquisition channel. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, like and subscribe.
All right. Good
Like
stuff, guys.
and subscribe. Thank you so much for listening to the episode this week. If you want to follow us, you can check us out on LinkedIn. I believe you can follow us at Builders Growth Lab. And then do we have a new website yet? Because to subscribe to our newsletter?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Okay.
As we
buildersgrowthlab.ai.
Yeah, that's it.
So
Visit,
feel
subscribe,
free to subscribe
get
to
good
our
information.
newsletter, get the info.
Request more
and
SEO videos.
I will say I've been getting some comments in my LinkedIn DMs around folks that have been listening to the podcast and have kind of outlined how they found us and, some topics that they're interested in learning more about. So if you are listening and you're like, hey, I really would love Mallory to dive into this, or for Connor and Charlie to talk more about this, like, do not hesitate to DM us on LinkedIn. We definitely keep our eyes out there. And yeah, if you've got a good idea, we want to hear about it. So thank you. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. See y'all next week.
Peace.